So this is a continuation of my dialogue with this person on the internet who calls himself Deconverted Man 1. So originally, he sent me an email asking me several questions, well actually more than several, with regards to my religion, and also my personal practice. As somebody who is a novice or somebody who is like new, he himself is a novice, he's an outsider, he doesn't know anything about Islam. Excuse me, I've just eaten. So, initially what I did was I sent him the previous video with regards to the nature of the Quran, because that's really what is the main point about everything. It doesn't make sense if you don't look at the Quran and look at its qualities and accept it as a bona fide revelation, that it's incontrovertible. You cannot get around it, because that's where everything comes from. That's why you've got Muslims and Muhammad and all the rest of it, because of that one scripture or that one body of text which is found on the earth. Yeah, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have anything else. So it seems logical to actually start there. The thing is, with people asking questions, the very nature of asking a question is because you don't know the answer to something. So you don't necessarily know that the question you're asking is the right question. And so in the case of somebody asking about me being a Muslim, the important thing is that's not the right question. The question is, you should be asking about the Quran, because that's obviously the basis on which I am a Muslim. So anyway, he sent me an email which I've printed out, and now, to do obviously justice to what he's asked, because he's been patient, and I've covered the point that I originally wanted to cover, which is the nature of the Quran. I'm going to now go through his questions and address them, possibly in separate videos, because there's quite a lot of questions here. So the first question is, why this religion? Let's go on to the next question, because I think that sort of like stands with this one. Did you grow up in this faith or convert into it? What led you to do so? So the thing about Islam is, Islam just means submission to God's will. So you dedicate yourself to the Creator, because that is what He is owed as a result of being the Creator and creating us, and providing everything for us and sustaining and looking after everything for us. This is what He's told us to do in the Quran. So what the Prophet Muhammad said was that every child is born upon its natural inclination, such that if you left, I'm saying that if you left a child on a desert island, it would have certain natural inclinations. There'll be certain things that it would do and certain things that it wouldn't even think to do. Yeah, that's what's called its fitra, or its nature in Arabic. And so, in that sense, the Prophet Muhammad said that all children, or all people, are born upon their fitra. Yeah, their Islamic fitra. In other words, the natural submission and dedication to the Almighty. Yeah. And it's their parents that later on make them a Jew or a Christian. You have to actually be made a Jew or a Christian. You're not, religiously, you're not actually born that. You have to be baptized or, have some sort of ceremony. And so the reason why I actually accepted Islam was by chance. I had an experience one day, which lasted all of like 20 seconds. And then I started looking at different religions. It occurred to me, it became blatantly obvious to me that there was a creator, somebody who created things. Something hit me. It was a very physical thing. And as a result of that, I started looking at different religions, but I didn't know what was correct. I just knew there's God, religion. The two seem to go together, the way that I've been taught. And at each stage, I came across a religion, and I started reading it and listening to people, and trying to do what that religion says. And eventually I ended up with Islam. So the only thing I knew about Islam in the beginning was that there's only one God. If there was more than one God, they would all fight each other. So I said, okay, fine, that's a reasonable proposition. And I didn't know any more. And I thought, well, if I don't like it, if I find something that doesn't make sense or this type of thing, I will just leave it. But the more I went into it, the more I didn't find any contradictions. It just settled with me. And when I practiced something that I'd read, then it made sense to me. I understood, oh, I understand why that is. And it all matched with itself. There was no place where I looked, or because I'm a person who I'm into systems and structures, so I cross-reference everything. I'm very precise. It's part of my condition, my Asperger's, that I focus and make sure everything matches up and everything's correct. And I never found any. It's concordant as far as I'm aware. Today I can throw anything at it, and everything always matches up. This statement that the Prophet made here matches this statement that Allah said here. So that's why I'm still with it. And like I said, in my previous video, the Quran sets up challenges. So it's very sure of itself. So if somebody can come to me and disprove the Quran to my satisfaction, yeah, sure, no problem. So I'll hop on board with whatever that is, but I don't see that happening. So this video was about how I came to Islam, and why I chose Islam as as the correct proposition.